No, we out, buddy. Looking for love. Mr. Buck. Might be up. Buddy. Just looking for love this morning. Good boy. No, you're not looking for love? I thought you were. You came over and jumped on me. My buddy. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Finally stopped snowing. You can come out and pig out, huh? Yeah, good boy. Oh, well, good morning, everybody. Just out here, we got a little dusting of snow last night. And this came out, fed the chickens. The goats were all fed last night, yesterday afternoon. And we're letting these guys peck and scratch on their grain. So they're over here eating away. Had a big bedding change out yesterday, and so had to make sure the coop was all cleaned out and ready to go. Checking out the goat water. Everything's looking good. Didn't get super cold last night, but we just have these guys out here doing what they do best, huh, Oz? Yeah, we had one person on, and then they bailed out. Yep. What are you up to, buddy? Huh? Hi, Yep. Hi. Hi, buddy. Yeah. You must have ate enough because no, you're just hoarding me right now. So yeah, we got a little dusting of snow. It kind of started at 6 o'clock this morning and it's carried through till now. Now it's kind of backing off. Jolene was up bright and early, barking like crazy. She was doing her thing, like she is now. Neighbor dogs came out to say hi. We were burning up some pine needles and other stuff yesterday, so it's still kind of smoldering there. Good weather to burn in. Keeps the fire hazard down, all that good stuff. Arabelle. What are you doing, girl? You go over there and eat? Good girl. Yeah, so finally got our snow a little bit. We're projected to actually get quite a little bit higher elevations. The way the weather moves around here, it'll hit the mountains a lot harder and lose a lot of its energy. But these guys are doing great. They're all eating well, drinking well. They're not having any issues at all. The higher overnight temperatures, they seem to be hanging on to their egg production for the most part. So these guys are doing good. Although we didn't have any eggs yesterday, but you can see there we changed out the bedding in the coop and did all that stuff. We got 32 people on right now. And if you guys could, please double tap the screen and leave a thumbs up. It helps out our little farm here. And we always enjoy the conversations we have with people, whether you're a big chicken shower or goat shower, or you just enjoy farms. Leave a comment, join the chat. We're always happy to talk with anybody that comes on. Ask questions about our farm operation here and do the best we can to answer. We don't necessarily get too wound up in all the other stuff, but we're just simple farmers out here in the mountains doing our thing. So we always like to talk to people. Sometimes our bandwidth is a little bit broke up because we do live so far out. And, getting Wi-Fi signal, all that good stuff is not always the easiest, especially when you have a spread of property. But yeah, we're just came out, had a nice dusting of snow. Discovered yesterday, especially with our goat manure, because you can see it looks like somebody ripped open a bag of Cocoa Puffs all over the ground in here, that these plastic rakes work exceptionally well. And you can see our compost pile there. The moisture's welcome to get this thing breaking down and composting and doing all the good stuff here. And so I keep mixing it, keep turning it, keep getting it to break down. And this is some semi-composted mix of chicken manure, the bedding, orchard grass, everything else. And then we'll go ahead and do the hugelkultur this spring and get that in the ground, get some horse manure on top of it to help that aerobic process. But when we have kind of like I'm going to say it's probably about 34 degrees right now. It's like the perfect culturing temperature in our climate. to get this going. Aaron, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for stopping in. Really appreciate it. The climate's really good to get this really supercharged. So before I stirred it this morning, a lot of steam was coming off of it. It's really cooking. I do not have a yoga ball at my farm. Ready, thank you. Hi, how you doing? We don't have any yoga balls at our farm for the goat yoga stuff. These guys, they just kind of wander around. They do their thing. Hi, Arabelle. You're a good girl. But we do have lots of toys for the goats. The one that's been the most perplexing to me as we go along, and the goats love it, and then they hate it. It just kind of all depends. Is this little playhouse we got from our neighbors? We asked them about it because their kids got too old to play with it, and they said, well, this is going to save us a load to the dump. And we said, well, we figured the goats might like it, so we threw straw in there. We kind of made it their little cozy home that they can go play in if they want. Of course, they got a barn and they got everything else, but if you're looking for goat toys, goat furniture, goat housing, do all that stuff. Dakota Boy, thanks for stopping in. Hello. The cool part is, Lahar, how you doing? The thing is that go see if you can find free kids toys, because the goats love them, because they are big kids. And then we have the infamous tower. If you've ever seen any of our YouTube shorts, you'll see that the goats really like getting up on this. And when it snows, they kind of slip and slide. They'll jump off the top of that. It's about 7 feet tall, and so it's got a pretty good height. Moon Squirrel, thanks for stopping by. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Hope you're having a great Valentine's Day too. We're gonna probably do some special stuff here today. So wife's still in bed. So she's getting some much deserved rest from the week of school and the boys and everything else, and so it's always fun. But yeah, these guys here, they like their toys. So yeah, we got the tower. We have this little table ramp thing. Hi, Oz. Hi, buddy. You saying hi? Hi, buddy. Yeah, he's saying hi. He's a good boy. He's a big boy, but he's a good boy. Huh? Are you a good boy? Is this a treat? Is this a treat issue, buddy? Yeah, he's Mr. Treats. Anytime I say, come on, goats, you hear the turkeys go off, and then these guys start talking. Come on, goats. Oh, buddy. Is that the treat call? They love that. Are you talking now? Yeah. Are you talking, buddy? That's what I love about alpine goats. They have that little moan, and it's not too offensive. Come on, goats. Are you going to talk, Pepper? Huh? Oh, hi, buddy. This is like a dog. It's a goat dog. He's a good boy. I think he's, once the snow stopped, because they figure anything that falls from the sky is acid, whether it's rain or snow, they get pretty, they get pretty wound up. So, yeah, but the two Dairy Queens there, they're like, we got all the feed we want. Yeah, he is a goat dog. Aren't you, Pip? You think you're a doggy? Hi, Arabelle. Hi, girl. She don't like her head touched. She just likes her butt pat. Huh. And then she flickers her tail. Oh, I can't wait to see her kids. She should have some really cool looking kids. Same with Sharon. Sharon should be pretty good. She's a bit more jumpy. Hi, girl. Yeah, see? You're shying away, huh? It's okay, girl. Yeah. Good girl. Yeah, we got some silly dogs here. Or goats. You'd think they're dogs. These guys anyways. So yeah, other goat furniture, trampoline. Goats love the trampoline. They don't jump on it, they just lay on it. And then one thing we did to kind of stave off some of the freezing, and it works kind of sorta, is we took my wife's set of old tires, because we put a new set of tires on her car, and we packed these with some straw just to insulate the buckets just a little bit. I had some other people give me ideas, like putting a copper wire in there to conduct the cold away, all that kind of stuff. And, there was a little bit of that going on. Yeah, goat chops for dinner. These guys are dairy goats. We will have meat goats here this next year, so, but we're going to wait until spring so that we get kind of, the winter kidding season's upon us with a lot of the boars and boar crosses, so we will end up with a meat goat probably. That's what we'll probably end up doing, and then we'll go ahead and process that, or 2 or 3, depends. So yeah, we'll have our goat meat for our winter supply, and then of course we've been doing a lot of stuff, with our chickens, and so a lot of our older hens, they're gonna have to go because they're not laying as much as we need. So we're gonna have to cycle those guys out. We have new chicks that we've hatched, and we have about 40 eggs in incubators now, getting ready. So we have an heirloom mix, and then we have our barnyard mix, and then we have silkies also. Silkies aren't for meat; they're more for pets, I guess you would say. But we're gonna still have them nonetheless. So we have a third rooster picked out of our hatching, and so we'll add more roosters because I think Stacy here, he's at his limit, and Foghorn, he's at his limit too. So these guys are kind of pushed to their max with all the ladies running around. So, and our younger hens, they'll definitely be good producers. So these guys are definitely doing what they need to do. Jolene, she's been on high alert all night. We've had a couple wolves pass through our area. Lately it's breeding season, and we don't really have to worry about much. You can see that you hear about people talking about animal abuse and all this other stuff, and this is a good old classic farm dog. She's over there laying in the mud by her own accord because she's got the most bougie insulated dog house right over there, and she absolutely refuses to use it. It's got R15 insulation in the walls because that's what I had left over. It's 2x6 construction with a metal roof, and she doesn't really like to use it. I mean, she's got straw in there, she's got everything else, but she prefers to sleep out in the snow pile, don't you? Oh, good girl. Good girl. Yeah. You watch them. Watch them. Yeah. Are you a big girl? Yeah, she's being a good girl. The other 2 dogs that you might see on occasion on some of our lives, they're content to be tucked into our shop next to the fire. So they are not that rugged. Hey, thank you. Glad you're here. Yeah, I've been trying to get more live feeds going on the weekend. So definitely doing that. Appreciate it. So yeah, we're just seeing what this next batch of storm's going to do for us here. We have critically low snowpack in the mountains out west, and so it's been really difficult knowing what our summer's going to look like around here, especially with the fire danger and everything else. So we're really trying to stay on top of our land management, getting all of our fire fuels down. We have some trees that we definitely want to selectively harvest out of the stand here. Yeah, well, hopefully the alerts go out. And, there for a while we weren't doing much with YouTube. And so it's been, kind of tricky. Kathleen, thank you. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in on the live. It was getting pretty rough on YouTube there, getting this start. And then over on Facebook, we really took off. I think we're almost up to 3,000 followers over there on Facebook. And so we really took off over there, and it's been a great way for our farm to connect with other people, other businesses in our area, other farmers. And so, platform to platform, it's been doing pretty good. Kathleen, I'm from Central Oregon. That's where I'm at currently. I'm in Central Oregon. We're kind of in the mountainous area of the high desert region, I guess you'd say, east of the Cascades. So yeah, that's where we're at here. So kind of unseasonably weather-wise. Normally we would have a lot more snow and all that. Look at that chicken. The chicken's over there pecking that can. So toys for animals. Chickens, they like mirrors. They like little things that dangle and jangle and shiny things. Oh, okay. You're from Massachusetts. Right on. The old state. That's where it all started. I've always wanted to go to New England. Never had the chance to yet. Definitely a place that I want to go travel to, though. So yeah, you guys definitely got the market share of weather this winter. Last winter, neighbor and I were talking about it. We would have had snow almost up to the top of the fence in a normal snowfall and precipitation year, and we've had this really bizarre warm convection. So the east and the central and the south U.S. have been cold and snowy, and we've been really dry and warm. About a week and a half ago, it was 70 degrees and sunny, and now you see that we have a blanket of snow. So Pacific has been very bizarre this year, but that's about to change, and hopefully we catch up on our snowpack. So these guys won't like it because they're, again, goats don't like to get too wet. I see them at the fairs and everything else. You had a skunk. Oh no. Yeah, we got Jolene, and about 3 o'clock this morning, she was pacing the fence out here. I saw a couple little beady eyes go run by, but I don't think that they want to get in a direct entanglement with the LGD. She's pretty fearsome when she decides she wants to be. She's always on watch all night, and then she'll go collapse on the deck and fall asleep here pretty soon, unless I let the other dogs out. Then it'll be playtime for a couple hours. Of course, the other dogs will just sit up on the porch and whine. They'll stare in the sliding glass door and whine at the window. Arabelle, hi girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. Coming over. Yeah, the German short-haired pointers, great hunting dogs, but they're not much for cold weather. Anytime we take them out, they have to be bundled up in their fancy little Carhartt coats and, have a nice warm place to go hang out, which is fine for them. They're not as durable as Jolene, they can do quite a bit. But yeah, that's definitely a thing. So yeah, these guys, I'm pretty happy with how they're doing so far. I would take a look at the turkeys. The turkeys, any day now, hens should start laying eggs. So these guys are all pregnant, and we're actually going to be doing a trade swap. Oh, I know, you guys want food. We're going to be doing a trade swap with a friend because we're going to get out of the rabbits. Not that we don't like the rabbits, but, with our hatchery production going up, we're going to need more transitional enclosure space for pullets and things like that. And our friend that does raise rabbits, she's better set up than we are, and so they'll do a lot better as far as all that goes. So I'll get you guys some pellets here in a second. I know, babies. They're pretty sweet rabbits for being, the meat breeds, but they also are 4-H stuff. And you guys got to drive into Bend. Yeah, that's going to be, Bend shouldn't be bad yet. But definitely down here in Lapine it is. Not really for our standards, but it's definitely there. Yeah, I see you there, Burger Sleuth. Yeah, the turkeys, they're doing pretty good here. They're eating their feed, and they're doing pretty good. We got, yeah, they're meat rabbits. They're definitely meat rabbits. They're New Zealand Rex Cross. So, what's up, Penny? You gonna talk? Let's see if I can get Tom to gobble here. Sometimes I get him to gobble. He's very sound reactive. All turkeys are. Hi, girl. Yeah, we're waiting for her to get to laying, but she'll figure out when she wants to lay, huh, girl? The interbreeding with rabbits, we select a different buck. So the buck is different from the does that we have. So we have the one buck in there, Mr. Grayson, and then we have the other girls there, and you can see that they're starting to get, and then we pull the buck out once we confirm that they have kits. You'll see how they have kind of that double chin on them. That's where they're going to pull their fur when they get ready to kit and nest. So we're pretty sure that all three of the girls are pregnant, and then we'll pull him out and do that. You can do quite a bit of other stuff. Gerald, thanks for stopping in. You can do quite a bit of different stuff with them. You can straight line breed rabbits. there's really no bounds. And a lot of people, when they talk about domestication and domesticated breeds and all that stuff, they do some stuff. Um, yeah, the inbreeding, that can become an issue if you get multiple generations and you end up with, deliverance rabbits, and nobody wants that. You get mutations and weak genetic lines and all that stuff. So once we confirm that they're all pregnant and everything else, then the buck comes out, and usually the buck is a one service type deal. Bucks aren't very high value in the rabbit world, anyways, and the friend that we're going to give them to, he'll probably turn into meat, and we have another buck that'll turn into meat also. And then these girls will kid out, and then they'll be bred with a different buck later on down the road. So yeah, the straight line breeding, it can be done. As with chickens, especially when you have a free range flock, unless you get really like wild about it and you start separating them out, and you're like, oh, I have to breed this one with this one and this one with this one and all this other stuff, then that's about the only way that like you can guarantee like genetic purity. And right now what we've done like with our chickens is, with our flock, we keep introducing birds that are from outside the flock. As long as they're healthy and everything, we'll continue to introduce birds from outside our flock, and that's what Stacy and Foghorn will breed with. There's none of their pullets in here, so everything is super genetically diverse with our chicken flock. So you know here's a thought for you on the whole interbreeding thing, and people do get concerned with the meat quality or toxins. um if you think about like wild rabbit colonies, or any kind of wild herd animal, um we don't really get concerned too much with wild rabbits. We don't get concerned with wild birds. We don't get concerned with wild deer and elk and things like that. Animals have a different kind of genetic code, genetic purity, all that kind of stuff, having mixed bloodlines, especially when you're, trying to maintain just stout animals. That's more, stout, resilient, strong animals is kind of more of the name of the game, something that's going to, you know, be durable. Obviously in our climate, we have to have breeds of chicken and, goats and turkeys that are going to be able to withstand the harsh conditions, because we don't use heat on these guys. They're completely dependent to, generate their own heat, and that a lot of that comes from the proper food sources and things like that. But genetic purity, if you look at like our resident elk herds around here, I'm sure that the herd bull is breeding with its own calves, and nobody ever really hesitates to harvest one of those, or do anything else of that nature. So there's a lot to be said about that. Now goats, on the other hand, last year we picked up a little doeling from a person, and we didn't know if she was pregnant or not. They just let the buck run, and that was a kind of a father-daughter type inbreeding situation. And she had the one little buckling, so the buck got her once, and he just was so genetically weak he couldn't stand up, and we tried nursing him and doing warm water bath with him, trying to save him, but he just didn't have the right genetic makeup, and he died like in the second day. So when we bred all of our girls this year, we went and got a buck from a completely different farm, ADGA registered, because we're breeding Sharon for mini alpines. She's coming right up on a year old, so she'll kid out at a year old, and so we're making the ADGA mini alpine, so a compact goat with high milk production. And then the other girls, they're all Nigerian dwarves, but we really wanted to have a good stout genetic mix. So we looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and we didn't want to do too much. Yeah, I would say it matters more with the goats. Definitely. And that goes for bovine, goats, because when we're doing bovine breeding, and we don't do that, but I do have friends that do, it's all AI. So you're going to go get, samples from a bull from a different herd to mix everything up. Gabriel, thanks for stopping in. Hello. And then you're going to AI your whole herd with select genetics. And there again, that's more for the safety of the cow than anything, because there can be gentle bulls out there, but you get a couple 1,000-pound animals together. You got 2 tons of beef slinging around, and everything goes into season, and you could end up with injured cattle, especially if you're a rancher and you're trying to maintain your livestock numbers, or you're trying to boost them. That's a big thing. So birds, rabbits, probably not that big of a deal. Goats, I think you could probably pull it off, but we just never chance that. Horses, obviously not a good idea. Donkeys, anything that has hooves, probably best to really mix those genetics up and continue to work to keep everything as separated as possible. And that's why we chose to castrate Ozzy here, because he's not going to be able to resist his little desires as a buck. So, and we didn't need him as an intact buck. He's a good boy. You could go down a rabbit hole on animal husbandry so fast, and there's people out there that are just absolute experts in it, and there's people out there that are just like, they don't care. They let their bucks and does run wild, and they do a whole bunch of different stuff. But, just out of the safety of everything, and just to make sure we have a good, stout, healthy herd, we select, bucks, and we pay. It cost us $100 to bring Peanut, the little buck we had, onto our farm, and have him take care of the ladies for us. And he was here for it's about a month and a half. They went through an estrus cycle, and with goats, the bucks will push the does into estrus, and they were already there. So it didn't take very long for them to do what they needed to do. So, hi guys. But if you have really good breeding genetics, you get a good stout looking goat like this, and he's got a great straight back for packing. He's got nice heavy legs. He's a big boy. And he's only going to get bigger. So we're so happy to have him now, because he's just such he's such a docile boy, and can't wait to get him out on the trail, because he's just got the best form. So we're really happy with him. He eats like a horse, as you can see. So he's just a big boy, big baby. Come on, goats. Oh, yeah, you're talking to me, huh? Come on, goats. Oh, buddy, you got such a baby cry. Yeah, and easily trainable, too. Some people don't like alpine goats, especially in the dairy realm, because, your better dairy breeds, and I'll even admit this, are going to be like your La Manche and your Nubians. And they're great goats, too. We have a friend here that has Nubians, and they're just the sweetest girls ever, and they do that. Great milk production, high butterfat content. You get a really good dairy product. Yeah, I love his markings. Happy saying, yeah, if he was a meat goat, he would definitely be of good stock, but he's a pack goat, so he's not going to the barbecue. We actually have better meat goat breeds that are available to us that we'll go for when we get ready. So we're in a real fortunate situation here, and anybody that's on here from Central Oregon, I always like to share the stuff that we do at the college, because it's a part of our community. And so every winter, our culinary students up at the college, they do a butchering class. And so they don't slaughter the animals at the college, but what everybody has the option of, and it could turn into a lineup situation depending on how many people, you can bring in some of your animals for processing. And so this last year, our friend, they had a boar wether, so a boar goat wether. They're the ones with the big broad nose and the floppy ears and everything else that her son raised for 4-H. And he had the option of either selling it to somebody to just make it a lawnmower or to eat it, and he wanted to eat it. And so they went through the process, they slaughtered it, and they took the goat up to the college, and the butchering class actually cut it, wrapped it, and packed it for him. So they do cattle to a certain extent. I think that there's a few more restrictions on the cattle because they have the local ranching association bring in halves of beef to break. And then they'll also do swine. So they'll do pigs, they'll do cooney, they'll do all of your standard meat breed pigs. They do chicken, they'll do poultry, all that kind of stuff. It just can't be alive. So yeah, mutton's great, but yeah, if you're vegetarian, that's cool too. Everybody's got their choice to do with what they wish, and we never force our ideas on anybody. Yeah, vegan, that's cool. A lot of people out there that are vegan, and that's that's your choice to do that. So that's awesome. But yeah, we enjoy our dairy products from these guys, and we enjoy their company. Oh yeah, the service out here is terrible. It's like a cloud passes and it knocks out our signal. Yeah, I notice I go from like 19 viewers to 29 viewers to 150 viewers to 19 viewers, and I think a lot of it has to do with our signal quality out here. I guess I'm gonna have to get range extenders and all that stuff, but depends on how popular these lives get and how many subscribers we get and how many people enjoy listening to us talk about all of our wild farm animals here. So, but yeah, we're really excited to get her milking. She should produce about a gallon a day. She's still just a little bit nervy, which it's just her personality. We've always been very gentle with her, never roughed her or, made her do anything against her will. Yeah, that's it. It's a price you pay for living on a farmstead. You got to get far enough out of the city where you don't have all the people complaining about you. They're, somebody's like, your goats are too loud. You got roosters, coworker of mine lives in Bend, and she has bees, which is super cool. And for us to have bees in Central Oregon is a really big benefit. And so she's got 3 hives right now, and she's going to split them. We're considering getting some, but the city code has a limit to 3 hives. So I was like, well, we don't have that issue where we're at. And she's like, oh, I wish I could have, more, because the honey she produces is absolutely magnificent. But I worry about our cold climate up here and all that. But yeah, the bees would be a lot of fun. The drone hives would be great feed for the chickens. And then, the workers, everything else. We'd love to produce our own honey here on the homestead and, have that as another thing. Yep, that's why we moved out of the city. Bison, elk, moose, caribou, sheep, musk ox. Yeah, Glenn. One thing I considered, and it's something, our climate's very conducive, yak. Now, I don't have good graze for yak. I'd have to haul in 20 tons of hay a month, to feed something that big. But there's just something about a yak. I don't know why. I like saying yak, and so it's kind of fun to do that, because it's like, yeah, I want a yak, I've gone yak, there's just something about that. The musk ox and yak, I think people get them crossed up because they're so similar, their body size and their hides and everything else. But I would love to own a yak. I keep telling my wife, I'm like, one day we're going to have a yak or 2, but they're a massive animal. I mean, because we had looked at like, okay, well, what's a mini yak? And a mini yak's like 1,000 pounds. So it's like, okay, so if that's the miniature variant of a yak, and I don't think I would ever want to get a mini animal. We have really good friends. They just got a mini Highland. She's absolutely adorable too. And now they're looking for a little mini Highland bull. They're not going to butcher it for meat. They're pets, But I start thinking about like mini breeds and handling and space and grays and everything else. And you can see we have like no grays here. So everything's got to be hauled in. And then I think about the space and what's humane, you know, for the space for the animals. And yeah, a yak's not conducive with our current property configuration. But down the road, yeah, yeah, the steers, cows, bovines, lot of maintenance on them. Just a lot of maintenance. Like the goats, we have to trim their hooves because we don't have like real hard rocky ground. We have more of this, you know, mushy volcanic soil like this, and so they don't grind down the base of their hooves. Yeah, yeah, I don't think we're gonna be quite in the deal for a mini of anything, you know, besides our Nigerian dwarves here. They're good girls. You guys are the Dairy Queens, aren't you, Wednesday? Huh. Yeah, they don't climb the tower. They just stand on the ground and then they start calling out whenever the treats come out. Don't you, girls? And they're very like one person driven and oriented. So, you know, they're truly, these are my wife's goats. You know, because they have that bond from all the milking and handling and kidding and everything else. They do form a bond, but Winona's looking extra fluffy here. Hi, girl. You're okay, girl. Oh, Winona. Okay, fine. Wander off. She's our old doe. She can be kind of a cranky girl sometimes, huh? Are you a cranky girl, Winona? Did I disturb your breakfast? I'm always disturbing her breakfast. Everybody disturbs her breakfast, and so they get head-butted. I don't, but the other goats do. Turns into a ramming competition. If you come out here in the dark and they're all piled on top of each other, it sounds like a cage match. So Arabelle and Pepper are best friends. Like they're so docile. And then Wednesday and Winona, they're sisters. So, you know, obviously that I don't know what the color combination is. I call them calico goats because that's what they look like. They look like a calico cat. But these guys, they're both kind of their own thing. See, she's kind of jumpy. Hi, Cher. And Sharon and Ozzy are best buddies because they're brother and sister. My girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. Oh, we hit the dreamy spot. Yeah, we hit the dreamy spot, huh, girl? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Philip. Yeah, we do our best to take care of these guys. We don't, you know, in 4-H and showing and all that kind of stuff. People will shave down the goats and everything else so that you get a better look at the body form. Let's see. You know, I prefer goat's milk, to be honest, but that's also because we drink it raw. And, you know, typically we leave the cream in, although I got a Viver cream separator for my wife for Christmas. So really excited to give that a try. But we had just, you know, homogenized the milk by shaking it in the jar. So we put all of our milk in glass jars, which I think also helps the flavor and the taste. And also we flash freeze. So it doesn't necessarily retain the goaty flavor. However, we also don't keep intact buck on the farm. So that goaty flavor that a lot of people would think comes with the milk, it just doesn't exist because we don't have the does constantly in estrus. It's not all hormoned up. So the flash freezing really does help the milk quality. And that's basically taking ice, you know, taking a bucket or a bowl with ice with the jars and dumping some ice cream rock salt in it to drop the freeze temperature and submerging it for about 2 hours. And when you put a mason jar lid on it, it'll actually vacuum itself down and it seals up the jar. And then when we do our cheese making, we just shake it up, you know, bring it back up to temperature. Some people put the rennet and the culture in right after milking because it's already pretty close to the right temperature. I think it's about 95 to 100 degrees is where the culture, you know, does that. And so the, you know, the idea of it is that, you know, the culture will activate. Time is, that I don't know if that's necessarily the most appropriate thing to say. The thing about it is, you know, when you get the milk from the goats and you do all of the good stuff, you have a couple choices on it, on how you want to process it and do all that kind of stuff. And so that's, you know, that's kind of up to the individual, but the flash freezing really does quite a bit. So, yeah, these guys, so Arabelle will be a first freshener. And the nice part of Arabelle is I believe she was a bottle baby because she's, really like imprinted on humans, but I can reach under here and I can touch her udders and she doesn't do anything. I mean, she's kind of like, oh, you're over here to love me. That's what she's doing right now. You got to itch, huh? She's going to be a great milker on the stand. And so we're really excited to get her up on the stand. She'll be a good producer too. She's just such a relaxed goat. And having your goats really relaxed is also going to help out because they're not under stress. They're not going to be, cranking out a ton of hormones and everything else. Adrenaline. Yeah, she's a rare color. Recessive red's a very rare color. And even when we've shown her to people that are like really into, goats, they're like, oh, what's that red one? And it's like, oh, this is our farm mascot, Arabelle. Oh, girl. Yeah, she just keeps walking towards you. She's like, oh, don't stop touching me. And I can put her right down there. And she just sits there. And then I can just pet her and she flickers. Are you flickering? So, makes a big difference. Lakshmi, hello. Thanks for stopping in on the live. So, yeah, I mean, keeping them in a low-stress environment, making sure they're protected, and making sure they have everything that they need, and good quality feed, you'll end up with great milk. And they're easy to take care of. There again, versus a cow where you have a lot of hoof issues, or other bovine genetic issues. Comparatively, for their size, the feed amount, and the quality of milk that you get makes a big difference. What do you see, Joey? Huh? What are you watching? What are you watching, girl? So we're going to probably add another LGD later on this year. So I think she's Great Pyrenees, and I think we're going to add an Anatolian. And that way she's got a little bit of backup, especially with our uptick in wolves in our area. So, have a safe drive to Bend, and we'll catch you on the next round. So, yeah, we're going to probably add an Anatolian to her so that she's got a little bit of backup. We would typically say, well, we'll add another Pyrenees, but we want to definitely do a Anatolian to go with her. She's very durable. Obviously, she's out here and she's in the snow and she doesn't have a lot of issues. So she does really good. We're really happy with her. And she protects the chickens and she protects the goats and everything else. So she had a little thing. God bless. Have a great day. And like I said, be safe driving out there. Hopefully you don't have too much snow. So yeah, we're going to be shifting some animals around today. Originally, I was going to go fishing, but I think we got some other stuff we got to do, unless the fishing allure sounds a little bit better. So, a lot of the people that be out fishing right now are up in Portland at the Sportsman Show, and so it kind of frees up the rivers to be able to go out and do a little bit of fishing. So, yeah, we're really excited for our kidding season. So. Good stuff. Hi, Pep. Anyways, Philip, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. And if you haven't already, double tap the screen, leave us a thumbs up. This has been our best live so far. Super happy to have everybody here. So we're really trying to grow the channel and get out there to everybody. So we have a lot of fun. We like our international audience. We like our local audience. We like to connect with all of our local friends too. So, if you're on Facebook, you can follow us there. That way you can actually send us a messenger message. If you live in the Central Oregon area, you want to come over and check out what we're doing. If you're thinking about getting into goats or chickens or whatever else, we always like to try to help people out, make really good economic decisions when it comes to this. And, that way it's not like breaking the bank to have your own little farm. Everything's became extremely enterprised in farming, and a lot of people are like, I don't know where to start. Our friends that live outside of Bend there that were just on, they were commenting, they were asking a lot of questions about, the cow's milk versus the goat's milk and all that kind of stuff. So we do the best we can to answer those kinds of questions, make ourselves available to everybody, and, also come up with some fun farm ideas that you can use and grow your farm with, and, have happy, healthy animals. Very, very, very simple, but it can be overwhelming and complex, especially starting out. People in urban areas, oftentimes they kind of wonder, like, well, do I have enough space, or can I provide my animals with enough of what they need? And the biggest thing is that if you're in an urban area, you're probably not going to have the larger livestock, but chickens, great thing to have in your backyard. Even Coturnix quail, turkeys not so much. They're kind of loud, so they violate the noise ordinance. Obviously not going to have roosters like Stacy right there. He's a loudmouth, and he's not afraid to show off either. You can see he does his nice little rooster strut, and he's got those beautiful long hackles on him. So he's definitely something else. What do you see, Joe? Oh yeah, so we have the chickens, goats, turkeys, and we're actually getting out of our rabbits because we're growing our chicken flock, and feed and all that kind of stuff is you start getting too much variety in feed. But I'll show you the girls here, the rabbits. So we have a friend that's local here. We're gonna just do some trading with her. So we have these New Zealand Rex Cross rabbits. And we have the 3 does, and we have the buck up there, Mr. Mountain Man Buck, Mr. Grayson up there. Yeah. Hi, Grayson. Hi, buddy. They're adorable. Michael B., thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we're gonna get out of the rabbits. All the does are pregnant now, and but our friend's gonna take them. They'll kid out probably in the next 10 days or so. They got a pretty short gestation, hence breeding like rabbits. That's kind of the thing. But she processes the rabbits for meat. That's originally what we were going to do, but we just have way too many birds that we're producing right now, and we don't want to do that because somebody else did, Glenn, and now we have a feral rabbit issue. We had a little black bunny actually that was living under the turkey coop over here, and about 1 o'clock in the morning a couple weeks ago we heard this blood-curdling scream come out of the neighboring woods, and so we figure an owl got it. But we have multiple feral rabbits around here, and they're we're trying to not upset the ecosystem. I worry about them. You come in peace. Well, we appreciate that. Glenn, here's our turkeys. We just have the tom and the hen. We had 2 toms. We hatched them out last year. So these guys are a heritage breed turkey, and so we have fun. Yeah, it is. Well, it stopped snowing. Now we got snow melting off the barn over here and all that, but the birds don't seem to mind. Well, I don't know if you're going to find anything here in that regard. Terrific. Thank you for subscribing. We're just a bunch of farmers out here in the country talking about animals and animal husbandry and birds and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, we love the turkeys. I mean, the tom over there, he's always strutting, but if I go back over to the goats again, I don't know if you were on earlier, Glenn, but if I go, come on, goats, they'll talk. Maybe the turkey will call, come on, goats. Usually the turkey will gobble whenever I yell that, come on, goats. Yeah, Ozzy's talking. Yeah, Philip, that's why we don't we have a wild feral rabbit problem here too. So over there off in the distance, we have a neighbor that has pet rabbits, and he's got his front porch all screened off. And like there'll be like this massive herd of feral bunnies running around everywhere. Now with the LGD and the other dogs, they keep those rabbits at bay pretty well. So we don't really get too many of those rabbits crossing over. But we did have a little. He's a cute little black bunny, but he lived under the turkey coop for about a month and a half or so. But this girl here, she protects her animals, but anything else comes in the yard and it's fair game. So probably better that we don't let them go. But yeah, so we got all the good stuff. Joe, we're gonna probably have to cut this off here. My battery's starting to run low on my phone. Technology, darn it. Otherwise, I'd stay on a little bit longer. Joey, you being a good girl? Huh? You busy working? Come here. Come on, Joe. Come on. Hi, girl. Hi, big girl. Yeah. I think I remember you saying that, Glenn, that you raised a pheasant. And we just connected with a person that raises game birds here. And, I'm kind of wishy-washy on it because we do the Coturnix quail. And, they're really straightforward. If you've never raised Coturnix quail, they're super straightforward. We just don't have any right now. But they're like a 18-day incubation. They hatch, and then 8 weeks from hatch, the hens will start actually laying these really cute little eggs. They're very multicolored and speckled, and it's a lot of fun. Pheasants, I've talked about it multiple times with my wife, and we were talking about doing some kind of game bird. We thought about chukar or Hungarian partridge also. So that's kind of, it's all been discussed. But anyways, guys, I'm at like almost 1% on my phone, so I'm going to cut this off before it cuts off. But anyways, I really appreciate everybody stopping in today. This has been the best live I've done, and everybody, we really appreciate it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. We really appreciate that. And if you're on Facebook, go check us out at 3 Rivers Farmstead. Shoot us a message. Love to chat with everybody. So until the next time, thanks everybody. Hope everybody has a wonderful Saturday. Happy Valentine's Day.